But tonight, I'm fully clothed. Well, as far as the camera is concerned.
Indeed. Hello, Kim. Okay.
Hey, Kim, okay? How are you doing?
Oh wow, it's a kitty. I'm matching your faces, though you cannot see.
Oh.
Ah,
Yeah,
hello.
yeah, see?
I swell, sir.
Beastman, get them! Anyway, we're here to look at some Magic the Gathering cards.
Are we?
That's what we do, remember? This is like our whole shtick.
Indeed, indeed.
It's shticky.
Hmm.
So, we're on to
So?
the best colour of Magic.
Mm-hmm.
The colour that comes from the Swampies. It's black.
Preston.
Royston! Royston! They're abusing the Kingsters! That's
And yes,
just not
Carly, you
allowed.
can get us to do weird voices just by quoting Jim. It is very easy to do. All right, let's start off with this accursed spirit.
Because it's spirit. It's a 3/2 for 4 with Intimidate.
Mm-hmm. Intimidate is the modified version of Fear. Fear is interesting because it is exclusively this creature cannot be blocked except by artifacts and black creatures. So, like, you could also give fear to non-black creatures as well, though typically black creatures were the only ones who had fear. But eventually they upgraded the wording to intimidate, so it could be used in a way that made more sense.
Yeah, okay. More pretty arts. Agent of Erebos.
Journey
It's
into
constellations.
Nyx.
We like those. We like the constellations.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Agent of Erebos or another enchantment creature enters the battlefield under your control, exile all cards from that player's graveyard. Fuck you and your escape.
That would be very good in this Theros block.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if graveyards were entirely too important in original block Theros, but I could be wrong. Regardless.
You're the expert, so if you don't know, nobody knows. Therefore, nobody knows. I'm
Nobody
guessing
on this
these.
stream, anyways.
I'm guessing these are returned masks.
Uh, I believe so.
Oh.
Yeah, you can read the flavor text, and it says,
Erebos minions hunt the return, and warn those who consider the same folly. Folly. Wow.
"Folly, folly."
Folly. Folly comprehensive. Lesher's Vanguard. It's a 3/3 for 4 with dash.
Dash it all. Yeah, this is the mechanic we were talking about with a lot of the red cards. The thing from the Mardu in the Khans block, Tarkir block. It is an interesting mechanic in that it helps keep your creatures away from things like board wipes, but at the same time, leaving yourself vulnerable to counterattacks. So it was only used in like the most aggro of aggro decks as a mechanic. But nonetheless can be effective. There were quite a few board sweeps in the standard when Alicia's Vanguard was legal.
Can it be super effective?
Mhm.
Good, because I have a playset.
A full
A
playset?
full playset upon mine honor.
Mm.
I'm Buscade Shaman.
Mm-hmm.
It's an orc, but it's black.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Ambuscade Shaman or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, that creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and it's dashing. It's a 2/2 for 3.
I don't know if you can see it too much, Jane, but we're getting a bit of glare on the bottom half of most of these cards. It's making it a bit difficult to read the text. That is much better. There we
I'm
go.
technical.
Yay! Yeah. Little fun, but you do need a lot of mana if you're going to be trying to take advantage of the dash mechanic on this creature. Because ideally you're going to be wanting to dash at least 2 creatures, or maybe even 3 if you can, to get the most out of this card repeatedly. But, I mean, if it's... You could just play it and then just dash creatures and have them get that bonus to their attack each turn, and that way you don't have to spend the 4 to dash an Ambuscade Shaman each time.
Gotta go fast.
It could be effective.
Yeah. It's an older style border.
Back to Legion.
Yes, it's a 3/1 for 3 with Morph. A Feto Exterminator is turned face up. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn.
That's very nice. That is a nice flip ability. And it is nice in... Remember that we can demorph things at instant speed. So... Indeed.
Oh, I know this
In an
one.
ideal situation, you could use it to get rid of a majorly big creature if they set up a block which they think is safe.
It's the Bane Alley Blackguard. It's a 1/3 for 2.
And nothing else. Pass it on.
It's got some stolen shit.
Mm-hmm.
What do I skill? Daggers. Yeah, knuckle duster.
Mm-hmm.
More daggers, I guess.
You know, whenever I see a dagger stuck in a block of wood, I always think, why would you
blunt it.
dull your dagger like that?
Yep. Knife nerds. Battle Brawler.
Battle Brawler.
Battle Brawler. It's a 2/2 for 2. As long as you control red or white, permanent Battle Brawler gets +1/+0. There's first strike in it.
In it. Yeah.
Hey, I'll cut your fucking face off. See what you
Indeed.
say?
Yeah, no, that is very effective, and that was very easy to do in Tarkir Block. And so a 2-mana 3/2 with first strike is very, very impressive. This would have been very good in limited.
Destroy them. Pink.
Pink!
Pink.
Lightcaster!
It's the Blidget Caster. It's a 2/3 for 4. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you may have target creature get -2 until end of turn. Your flesh
Interesting.
is unprepared for my gifts.
So this is essentially Constellation that is a removal spell, which is quite nice. I'm not sure if Magic Origins had the most ways to trigger Blightcaster's ability, but if it did, it would have been a really interesting card, and you could definitely do some fun shenanigans with it in, like, Pioneer or something.
That is super pretty.
Mm-hmm.
More pink. I mean, I would say that I am perhaps a little bit of a thing. Blood Chin Rager. His chin raged. It's 2/2 for 2. Whenever
Very
it
nice.
attacks, each warrior you control can't be blocked this turn except by 2 or more creatures.
Yep.
Menacing.
It's just a way to have, like, a shit ton of creatures on the board and make it so your opponent can only block, like, half of what they normally could.
Get us Drekust, friend.
Mm-hmm.
A
Your
blood...
warriors themselves would be decimated, likely, but at the very least, you'd be able to get in for a good chunk of damage.
Mm-hmm. How about the blood-grazed Hoplite? Or Hoplite, rather.
Very, very effective in the heroic-based standard of its time, because it has heroic, and it counters heroic, which is a very nice combination to get yourself quite ahead, because simply casting a spell that targets it, or doing something else that gets a +1/+1 counter on it, you get to strip away a +1/+1 counter from your opponent, and that's essentially a 2 power, 2 toughness difference you've made on the board state. Not to be
Nice.
underestimated.
Indeed. How about a blood speaker?
Kamigawa!
I am yeeting this skull.
Indeed.
At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice Blood Speaker. If you do, search your library for a demon card. Reveal that card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Whenever a demon comes into play under your control, return Blood Speaker from your graveyard to your hand. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy.
Ogres and demons was the major black sub-theme in Kamigawa. It was very effective in that you could tutor up all sorts of amazing creatures from your deck with many, many cards, Blood Speaker being kind of one of the key cards in that synergy.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of interesting demons that came out of Kamigawa block, which is neat. And you could do all sorts of really fun things. And you can still do lots of really fun things if you were to make like a commander deck based around it.
There's still time. There is
Indeed.
still time for you, Blood Speaker. How about this little cutie then?
They're always making good demons.
Aw.
Hello, I am like your
Blind.
snaily friend. A blind creeper. It's a 3/3 for 2. Whenever a player plays a spell, blind
Indeed.
creeper gets -1/-2 until end of turn. So,
Hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky. How badooba? Hope is good.
Who are you talking to? There's only one pretty girl. Well, I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here too. It's
I'm not
fine.
feeling very pretty today. Jane, you see, we can't make the same joke about how you're pretty and I'm not.
I'll
and
fight you
the
for
other
it.
way around. Indeed. This is gonna be the trans girl. No,
Depressed
you.
trans. This
thing.
is depressed trans girl. No, you.
Exactly.
It's cute, and it's 3/3 for 2, but it has a downside. But still very cute.
Yeah, that is a very major downside. It is not sticking around for long, unless you find some way of shutting your opponent out of playing spells.
Celebrant. It's a blood celebrant. It's a 1/1 for 1. And you can pay 1 life to add mana of any colour to your mana pool.
Yeah,
It has a benefit,
It's,
I suppose.
it's not great. The ability to filter mana is typically much more easily ready. But if you're desperate, and like sometimes there are things that pay off for paying life, especially in a cleric's deck from Legion. So in context, this could actually be okay, but otherwise it is not an efficient ability on a not efficient creature.
I just like the use of shadow on it. I think they've done a really good job with that.
Yes. The
It's a
Legion
bold
art
choice.
is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, the saying, duel to first blood, winner may, if they choose, deny that they are pretty. Yeah! Bog Brew Witch.
When it's a first blood, I'm just going to aggressively pick my nose and win. Ha! It didn't
say
say
that
whose
like
blood
I
it had
heard-
to be.
Exactly. And, I mean, who's to say that I haven't already successfully done that? Exactly. Get wrecked.
I shall just loom until I'm permitted to deny that I'm pretty.
Exactly.
The Bog Brew Witch
Mwahaha.
looks very, very Fraudian.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1/3 for 4. Search your library for a card named Festering Newt, Bubbling Cauldron, and put them into the battlefield. Tap, then shuffle your library.
You're likely going to have a few Festering Newts later on. And it was an interesting 3-card combo that you could make a fun limited deck around if you were able to draft a bunch of Festering Newts and Bubbling Cauldrons. Because when you're in a draft, you can have an unlimited number of copies of cards in your deck that share a name.
You can?
Yeah, when you draft, you can have more than 4 copies of a card.
I don't think it's ever come up.
It does in some formats, in some sets, when there are like really good collect 'em all cards. Like in the recent Ravnica sets, there have been gate-based formats, and so I know, right? It left a sour taste in my mouth too, Jane. Um, but if you could just collect any gate that came your way. Not you wouldn't be stopped at having just 4 Azurius gates or Rakdos gates.
Gates.
And yes, Becky, I accept that you say that we're both pretty.
I appreciate that you think that we're pretty. Brutal
Me too.
Horde Chief.
Mm,
Whenever a creature you control
same.
attacks, defends, player loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life.
Ooh.
And it's got some of that red-white goodness. A creature your opponent control block this turn if able. You choose how those creatures block. How to kill your opponent's creatures.
Yeah, this is a very effective card. Yeah, this is an amazing finisher for any Mardu or even an Orzhov or Rakdos Mardu deck. It's very good. Very, very good.
Cackling imp.
Yes, it's Cackling Imp. It's a 2/2 for 4 with flying, and it can lose life.
Indeed.
Poke, poke, poke.
Becky say, "It me." She also licks the blood off your nose.
She would do that,
Exactly.
and anywhere else.
Indeed. Speaking of, how was your trip up north?
It was lovely to see people, but as always, doing big travels and seeing many peoples will mean that it will probably be a week or so before I'm fully recovered, and can fully appreciate
Absolutely.
the time that I spent there.
Mm-hmm.
Carrion Feeder, it's a 1/1 for 1.
Indeed.
It looks like something from Tales from the Crypt.
Exactly.
It can't block. Sacrifice a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Carrion Feeder.
Hmm.
So, either abduct enemies to sacrifice, or token creatures, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry. I just got a message from my partner's fiance. Nothing major. Just need to respond to it. Yeah, no, Carrion Feeder's fun. It could be used as a very good card in Mardu Aristocrats decks, in in Commander and other such decks, because it is a free sacrifice outlet that is actually like good. Like putting the +1/+1 counters on it and making it huge are it's useful.
Mm-hmm. Omegon in the Sane saying not to be mistaken. Omegon the Sane saying not to be mistaken for Carry On Feeder. Yes, now, well, it's a Carry On Feeder here, matron. That's the best Kenneth Williams I can muster for you. Yeah. I suppose that makes the cackling imp Sid James. Corpse Blockade, Defender. Sacrifice another creature. Corpse Blockade gains Death Touch until end of turn.
Oh, I like Corpse Blockade. I have a few of these cards.
It's pretty. Zomble friends. I'll just block up the Tsar and fuck them up if they come too close.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple of those. But only a couple. Corpse Handler.
Corpse Handler.
Corpse Handler. Sacrifice Corpse Handler or return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
Okay, so if you wanted a Gravedigger that not only cost 5 to get the card back, but you have to sacrifice the creature to do it, here you go. It has even less stats.
It's inefficient.
Mm-hmm.
How about a Corpse Harvester?
Yes. Get these corpse cards. Ooh, that's actually a very neat ability.
Yeah, like, there's like zombies and shit.
Are you good?
Good. Sacrifice a creature, search your library for a Zomble and a Swamp card. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. It's a 3/3 for 5.
Hey, that
Expensive, but pretty
ability,
cool.
its ability is no joke. Like, that is giving you 2 cards for 1, which is card advantage. Even if one of them has to be a land, that's guaranteeing your draw every turn, your land play every turn, and you're getting amazing zombies to play with those extra lands.
Never miss a land drop, kids!
Exactly. I can imagine this being good in a zombie commander deck, which
And
do exist.
any excuse for more zombies. And it looks like it was art drawn by Dave Brocky. It's a black sliver.
Mm-hmm. There are a few of them.
Crypt sliver. All slivers have regenerate target sliver.
Indeed. Which is amazing. Like, that is... Like, they can not only regenerate themselves, but also each other. Of course, this is a lot more relevant in now that we've gone away from a regeneration-based world. So now a sliver deck can play this and not have to worry about everybody having kill spells that say target creature cannot be regenerated.
Oh. Sorry, I need to get my my jeweler's loop out.
Go for it.
Yeah, pretty sure this card is fake. Doo-da, doo-da. Yeah, that's not even slightly blue looking through it. Oh well. I only needed 2 of them for my pauper deck. It's a pauper deck that I only ever play at home.
Yep.
It's the unpronounceable
Quombage
Witches?
I don't know.
From fuck knows what series.
That's Arabian Nights.
So what?
The
like
very
the
first
3rd or
expansion.
4th? Was it
The very first
first?
expansion.
I thought Ice Age was first. Very close to it, either
What?
way. I thought Ice Age was one of the first.
It's like 3rd or 4th, whereas Arabian Nights is the first.
The first.
You know, it's always worth Googling or the card when you see an Arabian Nights symbol, because who knows?
I'm not convinced. Having looked through it, it's not got a blue core. It's got a weird feel to it.
The older cards don't necessarily have blue cores.
Shine's not bad. Maybe.
Ooh, you might be able to get $2.50 for it.
I've got a pair. I might be able to get $5 for it. I can go to Taco Bell.
Exactly.
More amazing art. Dead Bit
I
Shaman.
think you need to readjust the camera back to where you had it before, because now the glare's back.
Claire.
Glare. There we go. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. So delicate.
Oh my god, Becky, of course.
What a miss.
Kumbasha, my lord. Church bursts into witchy flames.
Kumbasha, my lord.
I don't think that's the effect Becky was going for. Alright, we have the Deadbridge Shaman.
It's 3/1 for 3. When Deadbridge Shaman dies, opponent discards a card.
That's not bad. Because when your opponent does kill it, and they will, you are effectively getting 2 cards for 1 out of it, because it's likely going to kill whatever it was that blocked it, and your opponent discards a card, which is not bad. And let's have a huge shout out to Crimmy, who is now a selling author.
Yes, Jimmy, do you want to send us a link? And we will spread the good word about your good book. Support Creamy. It's a giant. A Doomwake Giant. Whenever Doomwake Giant or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures your opponent control get -1/-1 until end of turn. It is a 4/6 for 5.
Ah, yes, this is a very good card from Journey into Nyx because there were many ways to flicker your enchantments and creatures in the set. And that means you could kind of just make a loop in which you kill everything that all of your opponents have. And when you also have a 4/6 for 5 left over, typically it's gonna make things very bad for your opponents very quickly.
More beautiful borders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, from beautiful to the dross.
Mm-hmm.
It's the dross crocodile.
The worst of the Dross creatures stat-wise, but one of the prettiest.
It is. It looks sort of Phyrexian.
It's from Mirrodin, innit?
That would explain it.
Yep. Darksteel,
Darksteel.
I think. Speaking of Mirrodin.
Of the Vault. It's a 1/1 for 1. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from play, you may have target opponent lose 1 life.
Not bad if you're going to be sacrificing a lot of artifacts. And there are a lot of artifacts to do that stuff with.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you blow up your opponent's artifacts, which they would have had a lot of.
Fuck them up. Death Curse Ogre.
Oh, I have that one.
Again, nice art. There's a lot going on here. It's a 3/3 for 6. When Death Cursed Ogre is put into a graveyard from play, each player loses 3 life. Fuck you and the ogre you rolled in on.
Mm-hmm. It's not a good card. 3/3 for 6 that also hurts you. Very much not great.
It depends how into self-abuse you are, I guess.
I guess. And Crimmy has posted a link
Yay.
to buy his book on Amazon.
Amazon.com/author/J Jacob Marion. That's Marion. Go buy a book. Do it. Buy a book.
Indeed.
Do it. Do it. Do the book. Buy the book. Do the book. Deepwood Ghoul.
You can also support Crimmy on Patreon.
Yeah, you
All
can.
patrons get the books for free. Patreon.com/J Jacob Marion.
Support. Do the support. Deepwood Ghoul. It's a 2/1 for 3. You can pay your own life to regenerate it. That seems like a waste.
Well, this is an 8th edition card, so it makes sense that it's a bit of a waste.
It's a sad time for all. How about a Death Gazer?
Oh, I know that one. Bit of a basilisk.
Hello, I'm a Death Gazer. Whenever Death Gazer blocks or becomes blocked by a non-black creature, destroy that creature at the end of combat. Death Touch?
Indeed. Essentially, except it doesn't actually need to deal damage to the creature. But it is situational, and it is a 4/4 for 2. 2/2 for 4. A 4/4 for 2 would be insane. Yeah.
Lampards.
Lampards?
Lampards. Whenever Dreadbringer Lampards or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gains Intimidate until end of turn, and it is a 4/2 for 5.
Intimidate is really the iconic evasion ability of black. I know, greens is trample, blues is flying and whatnot, but really, black is intimidate typically, which is not necessarily as good, which is kind of why it's morphed into death touch these days.
Death all the things.
Death. Indeed.
Dutiful attendant. I don't know what's going on here. That's either a very cool hat or a funky head. I think it's
I
a
believe
hat.
it's a very cool hat.
Nice hat, friend. You're a 1-2 for 3. When dutiful attendant dies, return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It's not the worst thing.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, gotta love that Sultai, where they're gonna be doing a lot of self-mill.
Mill me. Mill
But
me.
again, having that Gravekeeper effect, but with a addendum, is not the most efficient.
How about getting embalmed?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-2 for 3. Embalmed Brawler. It got Amplify 1. Whenever an Embalmed Brawler attacks or blocks, you lose 1 life for each +1/+1 count on it. Huh.
Well, that's not good.
No.
That could be a big problem.
It is a sad time.
Indeed.
Well, how about this?
Fellhide Petrifier.
It's got Death Touch. That other Minotaur creatures you control have Death Touch. It's
Indeed.
2-3 for 3.
Indeed. That is actually a very good card. Very efficient.
Yes, it's Ratcher Farms. They say it's the biggest meat processing plant on Outboard.
I don't know why we both turned into...
Well, I did it first, and then you followed me into my descent into madness.
I did. Speaking of madness, there's something else I'm well known for.
Oh, yes?
Sometimes on this channel, the thing I am probably most well known for.
Filth!
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 It's an incarnation. Remember them?
Yes, I do.
We've had Valor, now we've got some Filth. Swamp Walk. As long as Filth is in your graveyard, you control a swamp. Creatures you control have Swamp Walk. Fuck you,
Indeed.
fuck your enemies.
As the portal closed, filth oozed through. The stench of evil followed it in. You would think the stench would be
Sex
coming from the filth itself, not necessarily the evil. Base in his back says, filthy, but genuinely arousing.
Right.
So, pretty much like the both of us.
Hello, welcome to the Filthy but Genuinely Arousing show.
Indeed. You know what? I think that when we make the switch to PH streaming, then that would be a really nice name for the show.
Fleshgrafter.
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 Won't hurt a bit.
I
I lied.
Stop, it can only get so swampy.
You can always get more swampy.
Yeah. Fleshcrafter, it's a 2-2 for 3. Discard an artifact card from your hand. Fleshcrafter gets +2/+2 until end of turn.
Not a bad activation cost for a bit of a root wallow effect.
Mm-hmm. It's Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Eddie!
The Gem Palm Pollutor.
Ooh.
It's a 4-3 for 6 with cycling. When you cycle Gem Palm Pollutor, it may have target player lose 1 life for each zombie in play. Feels like it's
Very
more
nice.
use cycling than it is to play.
Well, absolutely. But playing it is more of a failsafe, honestly.
It's very album cover art.
Exactly. Ugh, Legion had so much good art.
Gluttonous Zombie.
Mood. 3 for 5 with fear.
It's me in the morning when there's faking in the fridge.
Greed and gluttony led to his death. Now they are his greatest assets. Emphasis on the ass.
And
Becky
the assets.
Says, "It me on a morning."
A gnarled Scarhide.
And then she says, "Damn, I beat her to it."
She likes the beatings. Gnarled Scarhide. It's a 2-1 for 1 with a bestow.
If you cast this card for its bestow cost, it is an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature.
It can't block. An enchanted creature gets +2/+1 and can't block. There will be no
Which
more
means
blocking.
it's much more useful to just play as a 1-drop in an aggro deck.
Gnawing zombie. Nom 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 nom.
Nom 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 nom.
Nom 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 nom. Tasty, tasty, tasty bones. Nom 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 nom. Gnawing zombie. It's 1 3 for 2. Set for a creature. Target player lose 1 life. You gain 1 life. Leechy, leechy fun times.
Indeed.
Speaking of the Graven Digger, this is Odyssey.
Dig my grave. I think so.
And
Yeah.
again, very sort of album covery art here.
God, old zombies were so fucking good.
It's 2 for 4, but that's not really why we love it. And I'm seeing tiny specks here, so this was in a deck that was used a lot. One that has ridden to much love in Pauper recently.
Ooh.
The Gamangler!
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 Yes, perfect
It's all
for
about that
your
delve.
perfect for the dredgeless dredge mono black deck. Yep,
Yes.
it's good. It's very good.
So good!
Get her, Skulk.
Good as skulk.
He's a cute little rat friend. With just a tiny issue of lacking skin in places. It's 2 for 2. And that's really all you needed to do. And I made more poetry there than I expected to.
Indeed.
Hand of Silumgar.
Silumgar. 2/1 with Death Touch. One mana, 1/1 with Death Touch is always going to be better than this. Because when you have Death Touch, it doesn't matter what your power is.
Yeah, let's
Not
mix in
really.
some green and get a Moss Viper. Thank you very much for coming to my presentation. The Hired Poisoner.
Hold on. Let me check my notes about what I just said. Yeah, this is good. This is a good card. 1 mana, 1/1 with Death Touch is a good card.
Yeah. Hire me a poisoner. How about a hired torturer to go with your hired poisoner?
Oh, yes.
Hello! Didn't see you come in. I'm about to engage in a bit of jolly old torture.
You should read the flavor text on this one. It's very good.
Follow your passions, I always say. Might as well get paid for what you love.
Yeah, this is a fun card. It wasn't necessarily the best in its block, but thematically, I think we both know that we love it. And it's great in its theme in that you torture random information from your opponent out of it.
Give me the cards.
Indeed.
Give me the cards.
Hoodie Assassin.
Ooh.
When a Hooded Assassin enters the battlefield, choose one, put a +1/+1 counter on Hooded Assassin, destroy a target creature that was dealt damage this turn. It is a 1/2 for 3.
So, when you're putting this card into play, you are never not going to use the second ability, because the 3 mana 2/3 is frankly rather bad. But that ability is very good, especially when it's attached to a body. You're essentially just playing a kill spell with a creature attached to it.
Do it. Kill the things.
And even though there is a limit that the creature had to have been damaged, that is not hard to manage.
Look at this pretty friend. It's a hot odd.
Ah,
Hot of the dim. Gains hexproof until end of turn for a blue.
Indeed. Good little card. Jamiro's really good because in this block they had the Cipher mechanic. You remember the Cipher mechanic?
I recognize it, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it'd be.
It's the instant or sorcery spell that whenever you play it, you get to like attach it to a creature. And then every time that creature deals combat damage to the player, you get to replay the card for free. So having something like a creature like this with a good stat block and that has a hexproof evasion is able to really get you additional casts from your cipher cards.
Nice. Infernal Katakura.
Alright, beautiful portal here, beautiful portal. It's a 2244. Got a bit of morph, got a bit of morph. Anyone want to be a morph?
An infernal caretaker is turned face up. Return all zombie cards from all graveyards to their owner's hands.
This is weird. I don't know what to think. Is it meant to take zombies out of their opponent's graveyard and stuff them in their hands? I don't know.
Or
Or
maybe
I imagine you're supposed to do it for yourself.
I'd have thought so. And maybe if you're playing against somebody who doesn't have zombies, it only benefits you.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, why is it a cleric if it's meant for a zombie tribal deck? Like, Legion had such clearly defined tribes. Like, you had clerics, you had zombies, you had beasts, you had wizards, and you had goblins. Like, outside of that, it's just kind of, I don't know, just seems to be kind of weird to me.
They've got a slightly Kenobite look to them.
Indeed.
Kami. Kami of Kamigawa.
Indeed.
Kami of the Waning Moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a flying 1/1 for 3. Whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, target creature gains fear until end of turn.
Extra evasion, but at a pretty weird cost.
And also we found the Kami of the Kamigawa block. That's surely the most important thing, right? Right?
Becky has said that she might start calling being on shift at work Horror of the Dim. Makes sense to me.
Keeper of the Dead.
That's a nice dress.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd look that good in it, but it's a nice dress.
I mean, I would love to see you try and pull it off. Oh, I guess I'd like to see you pull it off. Anyways.
Keeper of the Dead. Destroy target non-black creature. Play this ability only if that creature's controller has at least 2 fewer creature cards in their graveyard than you have in yours. It's a 1/2 for 2.
That is a good ability. You just need to start milling your own creatures into your graveyard, or just have a lot of fodder going into your graveyard. And you just get to kill what you want once a turn for a single swamp.
Correct.
That's what I call a good card.
How about me when I'm
Situationally,
throwing aggressive
but
at
a
people?
good card. Oh, yes. Actually, a good card to come out of Core Set 8. The Shades. The Shades always be pretty good in that their ability to pump up for a single black mana and get both power and toughness is very impressive.
It makes it worth the 3.
Indeed. It's very worth the 3.
Lifebane Zomble.
This is actually a very good card.
Lifebane Zomble has Intimidate. And when Lifebane Zomble enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a green or white creature card from it and exile it. It's 3/1 for 3.
So back in Core Set 2014, there was a cycle of 5 rare warriors that hated on their enemy colors. And this is the black one. And they're typically seen as relatively good in sideboards for formats like Standard, and in Pioneer, I know some decks run the white version of this card. Fiendslayer Paladin.
But no Slayer Fiends, they're my friends.
Indeed.
Friendslayer Paladin. Rude.
Rude.
Malakir Cullblade.
Alright, Malakir Coldblades. Nice to meet ya.
Fshing.
Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Malakir Cullblade. I like the art. I like the embers in it. And like how it makes the red on the forehead and shoulders stand out.
I like cool body art.
Indeed. But yeah, decent card. If you've got a way to kill your opponent's creatures, which most decks typically do.
We've reached some Mardu.
Madu?
Mardu! Mardu Shadow Spear! It's a 1/1 for 1 when Mardu Shadow Spear attacks, each opponent loses 1 life.
But what about what Pa do?
What a Pardu! I'll tell you what Pardu, he's out hunting rabbits. Something like that. How about a Mardu Skullhunter?
Ah! Not the skull.
Yes. Oh, hunting of skulls.
Enters
That
the battlefield
pointy
tapped, but you're likely gonna get an opponent's card out of their hand with it, which I guess not the best, but certainly like it's good filler in a draft.
Fill my draft. Martian Hulk.
Mmm.
Megamorph.
Megamorph.
Megamorph. It's a 4/6 for 6.
Yep.
Or 5/7, I guess.
Not that great.
It's not even super awesome artwork. How
Yeah.
about something more amazing?
Maze Abomination.
Well, I'm a bombed. It's got
Bloody
death touch.
Abomination.
Multicolored creatures you control have death touch, innit? It's 4, 5 for 6. I like it when they do that.
Indeed.
Wow, I have.
Too many of those.
That one paired really well with the green maze creature, because having trample and death touch is a very nasty combination.
Merciless Executioner.
Indeed.
It's a 3/1 for 3, and when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature.
Well, when you're in Mardu, you have a lot of fodder you can sacrifice. Very good when you're playing against an Abzan or Sultai player who is relying upon a couple big creatures.
Absolutely.
Ha ha ha.
Off with their heads! Ooh, more amazing, but possibly trigger warning levels of artwork. Brace yourself, everybody. Mind maggots.
Oh, mind maggots.
Don't mind maggots if I do. It's 2/2 for 4. When Mind Maggots comes into play, choose and discard any number of creature cards. For each card discarded this way, put 2+1/+1 counters on Mind Maggots. A good way
Very
of turning
nice.
1/1s into 2/2.
Into a 4/4.
For
Or a
4.
6/6.
For 4.
That's a fun card. I
It
think I
is.
have a couple copies of it, or at least I did before. I think I had a couple copies that were lost in the great theft of my original collection.
Weird, creepy ear penis maggots.
Looks like something out of a Junji Ito story.
Yeah, or like some hentai I've seen.
Oh, yeah,
Minotaur
absolutely.
Abomination.
I mean, that goes without saying.
Minotaur Abomination is a 4/6 for 6. And
Indeed.
that's it.
It was not a good card. It is
And-
still not a good card.
Then we shall not dwell on it. How about an Untuko Husk?
Gotta like that husk.
Husky.
It's really good in that you can activate that ability over and over again.
Sacrifice creature and Untuko Husk gets +2/+2 until end of turn.
So yeah, if you just have like 4 of them and you attack with all of them, and your opponent blocks 3 of them, then you just munch and hit them for 8.
Get wrecked. How about Not Pleasant Dreams?
Nightmare!
Do, 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 do. A flying nightmare's power is and toughness are equal to the number of swamps you control. It's a
Yeah.
flying version of Squelching Leeches.
Core Set 2014 was all about having monocolor decks, and Nightmare was one of the best black cards for that. Flying with the ability to essentially be a 6/6 when you put it down and only just get bigger from there is it's pretty wonderful.
Get
And it-
us of the wreckest. Nightwing Shade. Stunning artwork.
Indeed, but that's a bit of a less efficient shade in that it costs 5 and its pump costs 2 rather than 1.
But a good playset and everything. Nice art. That's just less impressive creature. How about a
Indeed.
Noxious Dragon?
Noxious Dragon.
Yes.
Ooh, I
It
like
has
that.
very bad breath, apparently.
It is a 6-mana 4/4. When it has flying, and when it dies, you may destroy a target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less.
Good
Lots
for
of
something
targets
that's
for that.
enchanted.
Lots of targets for it, but unfortunately that is a death trigger, not an enter the battlefield trigger. If it were an enter the battlefield trigger, that would be pretty amazing. But otherwise, this is an okay card. Sultai had a lot of decent ways to reanimate things. But, quick, get base and inhaler. But, yeah. You could do fun things with it. Phyrexian Gargantua!
When Phyrexian Gargantua comes into play, draw 2 cards and lose 2 lives. Worth it?
Dude,
I mean,
other
just that bit on its own.
Phyrexians have nightmares about the Gargantua.
But it's so cute.
Yeah, that ability is very good and definitely makes this creature worth playing.
It's
Every
full
now and
opposites.
then.
Every now and then I fall some parts.
Ah,
And
ha,
I
ha, ha.
need a Pontiff of Blight.
Ooh. Extortion!
A 2/7 for 6. You can play Hybrid Orzhov mana. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life. Other creatures you control have Extort. Wow.
Extortion was a pretty fun mechanic in that everybody hated to play against it, but it was fun to play with.
Like playing against Blue decks.
Exactly. Extortion is essentially, I'm going to turtle and eventually just play enough spells that you inevitably just have to die.
There's nothing you can do.
You must pay the piper. There's nothing you can do about the Catholic Church.
Quasi-High Priest. Not a full High Priest, just a quasi one.
Indeed.
It's a 0/2 for 1. Sacrifice another creature. Manifest the top card of your library. Could be good. Could be bad.
I think that in the right deck, that is a pretty decent engine piece.
I suppose it could work with something else. What about a Drake?
Rakdos Drake.
It's really racking them up. A flying with
Indeed.
Unleash. Can we come across Unleash yet?
No, it was the Rakdos mechanic from the Return to Ravnica block. Rakdos has had a little bit of a tough time in terms of the mechanics they get in their sets. The original Rakdos mechanic in the original Ravnica block was Hellbent, a mechanic that unlocked special abilities of your cards as long as you had 0 cards in your hand. And Unleash was you could put on a few counters to your creature when they come into play, but in return, they can't block. So, like, it was a really good aggro mechanic, but unfortunately, there was so much good control and blocking in the Return to Ravnica set that it was a relatively ineffective way to aggro out the game, especially when Boros also existed in the same sets. With the battalion mechanic.
One must battle at all times.
It was only with Spectacle recently that Rakdos became a very viable color pair in the actual Ravnica block.
So, a Reckless Imp. It's a 2/2 for 3 with flying, and it can't block, and it can dash. And apparently, everything is lightning. It's a cute little imp. Relentless rats.
Ooh.
Relentless rats get +1/+1 for each other creature in play named Relentless Rats. It's a shame I've only got one Relentless Rats. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's 2, 2,
rats.
3.
Rats are very good at pumping each other up.
A returned reveler. There's been a lot of revelers over in Theros.
Indeed.
Rat only deck, I reckon so. Who gave the rats energy drink? Yeah, I think you're right, Becky. That is a good question. Whomst? Returned Reveler. When a returned Reveler dies, each player puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. It's a 1 for 3 for 2.
Indeed.
I have too many of those.
A Roofstalker White.
What is going on there?
I don't know. I think it's kind of wrapped in a cloak of some sort. It's like meant to be all misty around it.
And that's like its head. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of get it.
Yep.
Initially, I was like, "Is that an eye and that an eye?" What?
No.
No.
It's just a hunched figure, Batman style.
Spawn. It's definitely more spawny with that cloak.
I guess. But yeah, original Ravnica card. So
A
that's cool.
rotting fen snake. It's got the old double mouth action.
It is essentially Dross Crocodile, except a zombie snake rather than a zombie crocodile. That does not make it any better.
5
In
1
fact-
for 4. Give it an angelic blessing. Or something.
I guess.
What's I thinking? I wasn't even thinking of angelic blessing. Aegis armor. Rotted Hulk.
Ooh.
It's 2, 2, 5, 4 for 4. My stutter's back. Yay!
Gotta love all these vanilla creatures.
Well, you know, we can't make them feel too sad.
Mm-hmm.
How about a Severed Legion?
Listen, cards can be vanilla if that's just how they are. There's no pressure for them to be non-vanilla, but that just means that we probably won't interact with them as much.
We'll go
'Cause
to
they just
very
won't
different parties.
appreciate. They won't appreciate things as much as other people,
It's true.
and we have limited space.
Severed Legion. It's 2,
I
2,
think
3
that's
with
severed.
I was being silly. Severed. Yep. It's if Thing from the Addams Family got together with like all of its relatives
Mm-hmm.
and just started on some city.
Indeed.
Shadowborn Apostle.
Oh, I know those.
It is a human cleric. It's a 1 1 for 1. Sacrifice 6 creatures named Shadowborn Apostle. Search a library for a demon creature card and put it into the battlefield. Well,
Yes. So, the Shadowborn Apostle deck, I think, was a thing in, I think, Standard, but there also could be some good Commander decks that do stuff with it. Essentially, being able to tutor a demon directly into play as soon as you had enough Shadowborn Apostles out on the field was really good, but you would really need to be in a specific situation in order to do that by turn 4, which is the soonest you'd be able to do that without extra speedy mana. And so it was just a bit of a gamble as to whether or not you could get your huge demons out by turn 4 or 5, but if you could, impressive. Excuse me, Jane, that is
your
not
huge
appropriate
demons
for
out.
Twitch.
I was getting my
Yes.
huge demons out.
Not appropriate for Twitch.
Fine, we'll take it to Pornhub. Shambling Attendants. It's got the Delve. And it
Indeed.
fucking needs it for a 7-1.
For, a 7 skull. Good night, Becky.
Hi, Becky. Sleep well and dream sweet dreams. Don't let the biscuits eat you.
Aw.
I want to be eaten by biscuits.
Yes, Basin is a very pretty girl.
It's pretty. Pet. Yeah, it's got Death Touch. It's a 3/5 for, well, I suppose as little as 1.
That's typically what you would cast it for, like between like 1 and 3.
Mm.
Becky apparently loves Mistress, fears biscuits.
It's alright, I will protect you from the biscuits.
Aw.
I'm good at dealing with biscuits. Especially
Aye.
hobbit knobs. A Shambling Ghoul! When it enters the battlefield tapped. It's 2/3 for 2.
Pretty basic, but like
Yep.
an efficient creature, I guess.
I guess if it came up in a draft. Efficiency.
I
or something
don't
within a draft.
really know much about Magic Origins as a set, so I don't know
Oranges.
whether or not that actually had a place anywhere.
Look at his little Gui. Hello,
Yeah.
I'm shambling.
Shamble, shamble, shamble.
Shamble, shamble. Shamble, 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 shamble. I'm doing explore. Sibsig host. Zumbles. A 2/6.
Excuse me, I don't know why I'm so burpy today.
Do you need someone to burp you?
No.
Am I gonna have to request someone to come do your pat backs?
I do the burping in my relationships.
Well, then I guess you'll just have to be gassy.
Indeed.
When it enters the battlefield, each player puts the top of the card of their library into the graveyard.
Yep. Good for
Text
setting
on
up
that could be
dredge.
much shorter if you hadn't kept using his or her. Just
Well,
saying.
they've changed it now.
They
It is
have.
now official policy.
Took them long enough.
Yep.
Sibsig Icebreakers. When they enter the battlefield, each player discards a card. There's a lot of melee things going on here. Well, that is a cool fucking helmet / armor.
Indeed. Yeah, it looks like it's a continuation of the neck plate from the chest piece. I don't know. Yeah, they use singular they on all cards now. That started back in, like, what, 2018, 2019? Very recently.
But I'm very happy to see it. Sibsig Muckdraggers.
You're a muck dragger.
Yeah, I am. Let's go Delve again. 8+1 black. When Sibsig Muckdraggers enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, assuming you've got anything left in your graveyard because you played the Delve caster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be careful of what you throw away, friend.
Indeed. Basin says so much better than Blood Bowl.
I mean, Magic the Gathering is considered to be the most complex game there is. But I've seen people try and understand or explain Blood Bowl.
It's not that hard. I play it all the time.
It seems very pray to RNGs and hope for the best.
Yeah, but there are things you can do to mitigate that. Like, everything that involves dice rolling is random, but whenever you can manipulate how the dice are rolled, then you can input skill.
So I can loom at the dice until I get the results I want.
Exactly. Not necessarily that, but, you know, you can always stack the odds in your favor as much as you can. That's the same way that Magic decks are built. You know, in the end of the day, you are shuffling a deck of cards and hoping for the best, but you can do everything in your power to help mitigate that luck factor as much as you can. But even at Worlds, there was someone who drew 16 lands out of the first 20 cards of their deck and lost the game.
Well, yeah, I guess. Fuck. That's got to be frustrating at Worlds. I made it all this way and then RNGs has just stabbed me in the face.
I mean, everyone is a good sport about it. It happens. It's just an element of the game.
It is true. It is true. I had one on Arena the other day. I was just like, land. I was winning. I was doing really well. And then it was just land. I was like, fuck it. I can see.
It happens. It fucking happens.
Silumgar Assassin? creatures with power greater than it can't block. It's 2/1. It can be morphed or megamorphed. When it turns up face up, destroy target creature with power 3 or less and opponent controls.
So this is an interesting card, and I like it.
Mhm.
You essentially morph it into play, and you flip it up, and then you destroy one of your opponent's little creatures. The thing is, the little creatures are the only thing that can block it. And so if your opponent's going wide, and they have like a bunch of like 1/1s and 2/2s and 1/1s and whatnot, then you can just play this card out, and like they'll only be able to block it with a 1/1 or a 2/2 or something, and it'll be able to trade. But if they only have like 1 or 2 low power creatures and a bunch of big ones, and this thing can just sneak on in. It's interesting. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh no, XSplit says that you might experience performance issues. Has this ever happened to you before, Jane?
Yes, but I had my penis inverted and now I don't worry about performance issues.
Fair.
Shadowborn Apostle! A
I've
deck
seen
can
this one
have
before.
any number of them. What the fuck? How did you get it there? Meh. Well, in which case, smoke, spew, invoker.
Oh my, that is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Does not seem to be very much worth it, does it?
No, the art's alright, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah.
No, thank you. You don't get to play, I'm afraid. What about Stalking Bloodsucker?
Moon. Let's see.
Also from Oranges. Odyssey, rather. It's flying. It's 1+ black. Discard a card from your hand. Stalking Bloodsucker gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It's a 4/4 for 6. It feels kind of expensive.
It is, but then it's like a really good evasive creature with a not too terrible costed ability. Okay, that's what it... Basin says, I've been playing the computer game and the voice clips are almost always he, him in Blood Bowl. Yes, I have experienced the same thing, and it sucks.
I've never played a Games Workshop game.
Hmm?
I've never played a Games Workshop game.
Fair. Very fair.
I like the miniatures. I briefly had a set of some miniatures that I bought from someone in high school. They're like, pretty painted. I like.
Yay.
Sultai Emissary. When it dies, manifest the top card of your library. It's a 1/1 for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's alright.
It's alright. Cavalry's here, love.
Cheers, love.
Syndicate Enforcer. It's got Extort. Seen that again? It's 3/2 for 4.
Yep,
Deals
that kind of stat line is not exactly what you wanted with an extortion creature. You wanted it to be sticking behind and blocking more than anything, but I mean, if you want to play an aggro extortion deck, then I pity you. I think you're going to have a hard time.
You're gonna have a bad time. How about Assault Dice Scavenger? I'm a burb. I am a burb. I have
For a
delve.
delve thing, this cost isn't astronomical.
Mhm.
And actually makes sense as soon as you're delving like 2 cards away.
Yeah.
As soon as you can get 3 or 4, you're getting massive value.
Attack its weak point for massive value.
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
Welcome to the circus of value!
I need to get back to playing that.
Swarm of blood flies.
Swarm of Bloodflies is a flying creature, and when it enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Swarm of Bloodflies.
Can I just
It's
say
expensive.
that I absolutely hate that proboscis. It makes me want to throw up.
It's very hypodermic.
I have a huge thing up against parasites, not against needles.
Oh, okay.
So, mosquitoes and those things really make my brain itch and squirm.
Okay, well, we'll take that away now.
all good.
And we'll give you the D. Tenacious D.
Ooh, Tenacious dead.
When Tenacious D dies, you may play a 1+ black. If you do, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control.
Interesting.
It's very tenacious.
Indeed.
I like that about
I don't know if it's the most useful thing in the world, but I mean, if you just need something to sacrifice over and over, you can do worse.
It's me first thing in the morning. Thirsting Shade. It's a 1/1 for 1 with life link. And it gets +1/+1 till end of turn when it's had its coffee.
Yeah, this is like what a lot of more modern shades are. They're low initial cost, and then the pumping is expensive because the way that they used to be with a high initial cost and very low mana pumping was deemed way too like efficient, especially because you could simply cheat them in with reanimation spells, and at that point they're very, very, very efficient cards.
Mm-hmm. Thornbow Archer. Thornbow Archer attacks each opponent who doesn't control an elf loses 1 Liffey.
Interesting. For a 1/1, that is a lot. It's still not much because it's a 1/1, but for a 1/1, that's not bad. Oof.
Too
That
many.
is quite the number of them.
5 is too many. Typhoid Rats, another ratty.
No, you
Death
rats.
Touch, it's 1/1 for 1.
Yep,
Yeah.
as you said. Very good.
Ubal Sar Gatekeepers. No gates.
The last of these fucking gatekeepers. We don't need no gatekeepers.
We don't need no gatekeepers. Wait. We don't need any gatekeepers. Or gates. I was trying to avoid the double negative. When Ubal Sar Gatekeepers enters the battlefield, you control 2 or more gates. Target creature and opponent controls get -2/-2 until end of turn. Blah 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 blah. No one gives a fuck about gates.
Been here before, we know where it goes.
We do know where it goes. It goes, God, I've got a full playset of those. Undead Minotaur. Look at that face.
Yep.
Hi. I've
That's
lost
why with
bits
the
of my
Minotaur
sight.
Abomination.
I'm an abomination.
In that they're just randomly zombie Minotaurs for some reason.
Why the devil not? It's 2/3 for 3.
Indeed. I can't remember if that came out just before Theros or just after.
Look at that artwork.
Very pretty.
That's a cool vampire.
Very regal. I appreciate.
I should get a throne. Sacrifice another creature, regenerate the vampire warlord. It's a 4/2 for 5.
Yeah. It could be better stat-wise.
Be better. Be better.
But that art is pretty great.
Yeah. Well done, Wesley Bird.
Mm-hmm.
You get a gold star. Villainous Ogre. Uh-oh.
Indeed.
Uh-oh. Stream do bad.
Stream too bad?
Stream do
What's
bad.
wrong with stream?
I don't know.
I'm watching the stream right now. It looks okay.
Okay. I'm going to reset that when no. It's okay. Okay. It's caught up.
Okay.
I thought it was going to do the thing where it's like, no, halfway through the thing, I just fucked off.
Deep
Villainous
breaths, deep
Ogre.
breaths. Yeah, Kermit says it seems fine. It seems fine, which means it is fine. We're fine.
We're all fine here. Villainous Ogre. Can't block. As long as you control a demon. Villainous Ogre has regenerate Villainous Ogre for 1 black. And it's a
Yep.
3/2 for 3.
Again, ogre and demon together tribal was definitely a thing, so a 3/2 for 3 with 1 black regenerate is very nice.
Yet more album art.
Indeed.
Vulturous Avon.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to you, Avon friend? Flying exploit. When an Avon exploits a creature, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life.
Have we seen exploit before? I don't think we have. what seems to be a Sultai-based mechanic that isn't Dredge.
Burb.
But that's a very good card.
Burb.
I ask if it's a Sultai card because it has the Sultai symbol. It's a Karn's card, and it has an effect that would very much seem to be related to it. But I don't think we've seen one in either green or blue, or in any of the other black.
I feel
I'll
like
need to
I'd
look
be
into
quite
that.
salty if that came at me, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
How about...
Like- I'm just surprised we haven't seen it before this late into the thing, and it's apparently keyworded. Zombie brutes!
Zombie brute, zombie brute. It's got so many arms and faces.
Meow.
It's a 5/4 for 7. Amplify. This card comes into play. Put a +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie you reveal from your hand, and it's got trample.
You see, the thing about these Amplify cards is that they all seem to be like high-costed things you would play in like the late game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
When
at
you
a point
don't
where
have a
you're not
handful
going
of
to
zombies.
have anything in your hand.
Yeah.
Oh, Jane, we know what that cleric's for now. It's for when your graveyard is full of your old zombies. And then you put them all into your hand, and then you play a zombie brute and amplify it up to like 11-10.
Here's everything from my graveyard. I milled everything into it earlier.
We've cracked the code.
Yeah. Alter Reap.
Da da da.
Alter Reap. Da, 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 da. As an additional cost to cast Alter Reap, sacrifice creature, draw 2 cards. It costs 2 mana to play Alter Reap. Da, da,
And it's
da, da,
instant.
da, da, da. It plays at instant speed.
It's quite good. The other versions of this being Thrill of Possibility, which is an instant for 2 that draws 2, but you have to discard a card for it. Having to sacrifice a creature instead seems like it would be a much more interesting alternative to that sort of cost. I imagine that in specific decks, it would be very interesting.
Ancestrally, Vengeance.
Ancestral Vengeance.
Enchantment creature, when an Ancestral Vengeance enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Enchanted creature gets -1/-1.
Indeed.
So, a lot of things going on there for 2 mana.
Yeah. A
Feels
whole lot
decently
of not
priced.
much, but could be something, I guess, if you're against a Mardu player. I don't know. It seems more like a sideboard card to me.
Mhm.
And even then, it wouldn't be a good one.
How about an Artificer's Hex? Enchant equipment.
Ooh.
At the beginning of your upkeep, if enchanted equipment is attached to a creature, destroy that creature.
That looks like it could be quite nice.
How much to curse a fake sword? A real sword?
Hmm?
How much to curse a real sword?
I don't know. I imagine quite a lot, depending on the quality of the sword and who has it.
Real sword?
Likely more than just a single black mana.
Real sword. Aspect of Gorgon. Go on.
Mm-hmm. That is a pretty Gorgon.
Yes. But it seems, and possibly a lesbian Gorgon, because it's all on one side.
Right?
Had the side shave done.
No, snakes. You're gonna need to. If you don't want to be cut off, you gotta move this way.
Yep. Get in with my
Listen.
gay aesthetic, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Enchanted creature gets +1/+3 and Death Touch.
And you know that she's also lesbian because she has a laurel wreath on her head, and those were given only to like very successful athletes or other people who've done heroic things. And so, like, I imagine she's just mega butch.
Mega Butch.
Indeed.
I think that'll be my new nickname. Speaking of Butch, it's Butcher's Glee. Hi!
I imagine that could be a very fun little side mechanic to spawn off of Megamorph. Mega butch.
Was it you that asked the Magic the Gathering question? No. You did, but it wasn't that one. Becky, I think it was Becky asked about what our card would be in a TCG.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, well, you'll have to wait for Grim Pleasant Strangers to find out what my answer was.
No.
I've invented a whole new mechanic of looming.
Please, I'm so excited.
Butcher's Glee costs 3 mana. It's an instant. Target creature gets a +3/+0 and gains lifelink until end of turn. Regenerate it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, heck.
Heckins.
Heckens to Betsy. Lucky Betsy.
How many cards do we have left to go through?
Less than we've already gone through.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what we've done,
Okay,
and that's what we've got left.
all right. This is a creature. What's it doing in the spells pile?
I don't know.
It is a 1/2 flying with extortion. Very interesting. It could be used to block any chump flyers the opponent has while
Take
you
that.
extort them to death.
Take that, you flying bastards. How about Castness into Darkness? And shall creature gets -2/-0 and can't block.
So essentially just lets it be a lump on the field.
Lumpy. But also, it's an enchantment coming in, so it might trigger your constellations.
Oh, absolutely.
God, I use this card so much. Caustic Tar!
Ooh,
Enchanted land target player loses 3 life. It's
that is
expensive.
very expensive, but also a fun ability. Especially on a land, because people can't do shit to lands.
Yeah. Yeah, I've taken it out now because it's too expensive, but God, I love
Indeed.
using that card.
Makes sense.
Clutch of the Undead!
Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 as long as it's a zombie. Otherwise, it gets -3/-3. That is a good card.
It reminds me of Guato.
It is both a removal spell and a pump spell based on what you need. Ah, Crimmy has a good idea. Here's a cool idea for something in a card game. When holding your hand, you always have to have 2 cards visible at all times.
What if you don't have 2 cards in your hand? Coat with Venom. Target creature gets a +1/+2 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. It's alright for 1.
It's a fun little combat trick, and it's one that's played with a lot.
So I've got a 5th Dawn and whatever the star one is. Both of them
Yeah.
worth nothing now. Look at
I
your
don't think
opponent's
that's
hand.
5th Dawn.
Is it not?
No. That's a much older set.
I can't remember.
But anyways, Coercion.
Coercion!
5th Dawn is a helmet.
I don't know what I'm thinking of there. Look at your opponent's hand, choose a card. Your opponent discards that card. Yeah. Used to have a lot of coercion. And stuff in my black and white deck.
Coercion's interesting because it's the only thing you can use to make your opponent discard lands that I've seen, anyways. On top of everything else.
Yeah, because they'll
which-
usually say, like, target creature or...
target non-land card at the most.
Yeah. Contaminated Bond. Whenever enchanted creature attacks or blocks its controller loses 3 life.
Interesting.
A massive fuck you for only 2.
Ooh, read that description, Jane.
This leash disciplines the master.
Good for a switch like me.
I do the discipline.
Mhm.
Contaminated ground. Enchant land. Enchanted land is a swamp. Whenever enchanted land becomes tapped, its controller loses 2 life.
Yeah.
Cruel feeding. Go on. I'm liking this art. It's called Strive. I feel like we've not encountered that before.
I think we did like once.
Cruel feeding costs 2+ black, more to cast for each target beyond the first. Oh yeah, we have, yeah. Any number of target creatures gets +1/+0 and gain lifelink until end of turn. Not bad for 1, I guess. But the Strive does make it a bit expensive.
Indeed. Good night, Basin.
No, Basin, thanks for coming. Crypt Incursion. Exile all creatures from your target player's graveyard. You gain 3 life for each card exiled this way. Oh
That could
boy.
be quite good.
Yes,
quite good.
indeed. Yes, indeed. I got 3 of those. Dark Banishing.
Yep. Core set 8. Doomblade's better.
It's not even got great art.
Nope.
Dark Favor. Enchanted,
Yep.
enchanted creature. Dark Favor enters the battlefield. You lose 1 life. Enchanted creature gets +3/+1.
Pretty basic. Good stat boost, especially in an aggro deck. Well worth it. Depending on the deck, obviously.
But draw Dark Prophecy. It's good for your devotion, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
3 black. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card and lose 1 life.
Yes, very good payoff. There are a lot of effects like this, and they're almost always worth it. Like, they just printed a card in Guilds of Ravnica called Midnight Reaper that has this effect. It's just on a 3/2 creature.
No.
It's very good.
Fuck 'em up. Deadly Wanderings. Nice swords, nice lightning.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive. As long as
Yep.
you control exactly 1 creature, that creature gets +2/+0 and has Death Touch and Lifelink.
I think there were a few of these enchantments and cards that were like, you must have a single champion that can do everything, but as soon as you have more than 1 card, you lose it all. But
Don't get greedy.
yeah,
One
exactly.
creature.
I'm not sure if that was a very successful thing.
Dead Await.
Mm-hmm.
-2.
Good little
-2.
removal spell.
-2, -2 for what? Good price. Very manageable.
Yep. Compared to
Yes.
Myra's Grasp, which just came out, which is 2 mana for a -3/-3, it's still good. That's good stuff.
Death's Approach. It's coming for us all, you know. Enchanted creature has -X/-X, where X is the number of creature cards in its controller's graveyard.
Indeed. This is very good in Dimir decks. Dimir also had a lot of milling in this set.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well. How about Debilitating Injury?
Just
-2,
my
-2.
life in it. Okay, so it's just the same as Deadweight, except costs 1 more. Not the greatest in it.
I don't think it's a bit older.
Mm-mm.
Tasty, tasty. Devour flesh.
Yes.
Looks like man meat's back on the menu.
Target player sacrifices a creature, then gains life equal to that creature's toughness.
Okay, then.
Good if you've got, like, I guess... Oh, no. Yeah, good if you've got, like, a wall you want to get rid of.
Mm-hmm. Or if you just want to force your opponent to sacrifice one of their good creatures. They get a bit of an upside, but 2 mana to kill something is not terrible, I guess.
It'd be fun if they've got, like a 5/1 or something.
Mm-hmm. And that was their only thing.
Devouring Greed. As an additional cost to play Devouring Greed, sacrifice a creature. You may sacrifice any number of spirits. Choose. Target player loses 2 life plus 2 life for each spirit sacrificed this way. Ooh, that could get spicy.
You gain that much life.
Dang. Could be good.
That's interesting. Could work if you had a really good spirit deck, and in Kamigawa you could have really good spirit decks. But you'd mostly want to sacrifice spirit tokens, and the way to make those was relatively limited, outside of, like, green and white. But if you could pull it off, this card would be a very good finisher.
Golgari decks for the win. Devouring Shadow. Like when I'm trying to hide the fact that I'm eating again. Destroy target creature, it can't be regenerated. You lose life equal to that creature's toughness.
Indeed. But just to permanently kill something for 2 mana at an instant speed is very good.
You there. Fuck off. Diplomacy of the Wastes. Like the art here. Target opponent reveals their hand. Choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. If you control a warrior, that player loses 2 life.
There are much more efficient ways to get this sort of effect, but if you have a warrior, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Dowsing gloom.
Deals 2 damage to target creature, and you gain 2 life.
Again, much more efficient ways to do this sort of thing.
I was going to say, it feels quite expensive for what it is.
Exactly.
How about Draglion Shadow?
Ooh.
Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has fear.
Mm-hmm.
When a creature with converted mana cost 6 or more comes into play, you may return Dragon Shadow from your graveyard to play, enchanting that creature.
This is a good card to play because you could just play it early and have that ability, and just get a few unblockable attacks out of it. And then as soon as you start getting into the late game, you just find some way to sacrifice that creature, or it would have just died naturally to removal or something, and then all of a sudden you're able to just bring it back again and again and again with your bombs.
Mm-hmm. Nice for your delve creatures as well, I guess.
I guess.
Not that they generally need the +1/+0.
Indeed.
The fear would be nice, though. Dutiful return. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand.
They recently printed a card that is 3 mana for this exact same effect.
Damn you, undervaluing my old cards.
Mm-hmm.
Dying wish.
That is some cool fucking art. They did good smoke there. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Chew. Enchanted creature you control. When enchanted creature dies, target player loses X life, and you gain X life where X is its power.
Yeah, the only real clause here is that it has to be one of your creatures. Which sucks. If you could do it on an opponent's creature, this could be very good. But yeah, I mean, if you know something that you've got is going to be sacrificed soon, I guess you could get a bit of extra value out of it. Unfortunately, this is something that's better the better the creature is. So you generally don't want to be sacrificing or destroying your own good creatures.
But
if
if
you need a way to kill an opponent...
Yeah. Endless whispers.
Of a good friend.
Could be. Tonight the music seems this loud, so loud. I've got a 4 mana enchantment creature. When this creature is put into a graveyard from play, choose target opponent. That player puts this creature card from that graveyard into play under their control at end of turn. Too many words, lost track.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a better way
every
of saying
creature, you're able to choose an opponent that must take control of it. But yeah, I don't know. It seems weird. I don't know what its usefulness would be.
Stop being confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Eye Blight Massacre. Those are some words.
Mm-hmm.
Non-elf creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like an inappropriate thing for a black deck.
Yeah, but there are some Golgari Elves decks that are good.
Oh yeah, I guess. All about that good.
Like if you have Deathrite Shaman as your main piece in the deck, then it's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm. Fatal Fumes. Target creature gets -4/-2 until end of turn. It is 4 though.
Mm-hmm.
How many of these do I have? I have a playset apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty art alerts.
Fearsome Awakening.
Return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's a dragon, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. It's available for just 5 mana today.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. It's pretty, but it feels expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, black has all the best card art.
Feast of Dreams. Destroy target enchanted creature or enchantment creature. Not bad.
Indeed.
Especially in that
Not
block.
bad at all.
Or in that set, rather.
Well, yeah, in that block. That was right.
Font of Return.
Mm-hmm.
Return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand for 6.
I mean, spread over 2 turns. This is actually a pretty efficient way to get those cards back into your hand, especially because you would frequently be getting bestow creatures, enchantment creatures, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. How about a Foul Tongue Shriek?
That is my mood.
A target opponent loses 1 life for each attacking creature you control. You gain that much life.
So definitely something you'd want to play in Mardu colors.
Madu.
Where you just have like a bajillion attacking creatures, and it's a good way to stabilize in a mirror match.
Toccata and Fugue. Target player chooses and discards 3 cards.
That's a lot of cards for a lot of mana.
I feel like you could be doing better things with that mana.
Indeed.
Perhaps a Grave Purge.
Hmm.
Put any number of target creature cards from your graveyard on top of...
That was my cat. Don't worry.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Has Mitzi sliced your face off to replace you?
No, she has just chomped my foot.
That's your foot.
Yeah, it is.
Rude.
But anyways, Grave Purge. We just saw this recently reprinted in Throne of Eldraine of all things, except it was, I believe, sorcery speed and might have been 1 cheaper, but I can't quite recall for sure.
Oh, heck.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to draw a card. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Grave Strength. Choose target creature, put the top 3 cards of your library on top of your graveyard, then put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each creature card in your graveyard.
Neat. That could be a fun way to buff up a creature out of nowhere.
Neat. Also, cool up.
Gotta love the purple.
One of my favourite cards. A mainstay for my deck for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that poor bear. Kind
Indeed.
looks like it's wearing sunglasses.
You're not wrong. The Hand of Death!
Yeah, but I'm chill about it. I'm the coolest forest bear. Wow, these cards are fucked. I
Yep.
like Hand of Death.
A 3 mana to destroy any non-black creature.
Get wrecked, scrub. Hedonist Trove. When Hedonist Trove enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target opponent's graveyard. You may play land card exiles with Hedonist Trove. You may cast non-land cards exile with Hedonist Trove. You can't cast more than 1 spell this way each turn.
I actually have a commander deck that uses this card.
It good?
The one time I drew it in a commander game that I've played with that deck, it wasn't really that useful. That's because I drew it on like turn 2.
Yeah. 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 I can see how that would be a thing. How about a woo?
Awoo from beyond.
Yes. So it's X plus black. Target creature gets plus X+0 until end of turn. A woo! Oh, a woo! A woo!
I mean, a good way to close out a game out of nowhere or to kill an opponent's best creature out of nowhere.
Yeah.
The ill-gotten inheritance, the scourge of drafts everywhere.
At the beginning of your upkeep, Ill-Gotten Inheritance deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you gain 1 life. I mean...
Then you could pay 5 and a black to sack it to deal 4 damage to target opponent, and you gain 4 life.
Finish them. Do, 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 do.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it there was a whole time for that being a pain in the arse then?
Mm-hmm.
Illness in the ranks. Each token's getting
In other words-
-1/-1.
In other words, fuck the Selesnya decks, because they were all about creature tokens.
Rude. They need those.
Mm-hmm.
Infernal Scarring.
Indeed.
+2/+0. And has when this creature dies, draw a card. I mean, I like drawing cards.
Mm-hmm. Pretty basic, but seems like it could be pretty reliable in a pinch.
Mm-hmm. One, please. 1 and 1 OEP. How about Eradicate? Splash with the pink goo.
Eradicate.
I prefer Ratata. I like splashing with the pink goo.
Mm-hmm.
There's some cool artwork. My Dominatrix power move. Killing Glare. Destroy target creature with power X or less.
There were a few really good, reliable ways of just reducing a creature's power to 0 in this set, and so having this be a 1-mana kill spell at instant speed was pretty brutal.
Yeah, get wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
Lingering Death.
That is quite a chunky fellow.
Enchanted creature. The controller of enchanted creature sacrifices it at the end of their turn.
Mm-hmm.
You there. Fuck off.
You die next turn.
Oh, beautiful art.
Oh, yes.
Art. The macables. The dance macabre, as it were. Return up to target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand and then discard a card. I've got a lot of those, apparently.
But in all seriousness, that's a really good card. Really efficient. Ah, yes, here's that cipher I was talking about.
Cipher. Mental vapors.
Do you vape?
Target creature discards a card.
Target creature?
Target player. Creatures can have cards. I've decided now it's a new mechanic for...
Creature can have little a card as a
That's
treat.
a treat. Cipher. Cipher.
After you resolve this card, you can exile it and code it on a creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, its controller may cast a copy of the encoded card without paying its mana cost. Basically, you pay this card, then you say, I want it to be attached to you, good creature with flying or something, or is unblockable. And then they go swingy, and as soon as they do, and they hit the opponent, you're able to say, aha, I have cast this overpriced card again, but for free. And eventually it's worth it.
Maybe you're worth it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe it's the Midnight Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
Some shit going down here, I guess. Are they smoking hands on spikes?
Yes,
There's a lot
they
going
are.
on this card.
And then you can see that his hands are growing massively as well.
Is he wolfing
Look at
warily?
those nails. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine just crack long before that.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine scratching someone's back with that.
In all seriousness, this is actually a very good enchantment because it just makes it into a classic shade.
Pump, 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 pump.
Mm-hmm. Enchanted creature has Swamp. This creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump
I
it
realize that some of these cards we've talked about without actually saying what they do. Which is fair.
up. Mind rot. Target creature.
Classic
target
card.
player discards 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that creature is, but they look pretty cool.
It's a Djinn, I think.
Antonic?
Mm-hmm.
Necra Sanctuary.
Mm.
At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a green or white permanent, target player loses 1 life. You control a green permanent and a white permanent, that player loses 3 life. So you're encouraged to play
Yes.
3 color decks.
Indeed. Yeah, this was, oh, is that Alliances? I can't remember exactly what symbol that is.
I think it is.
No, not Alliances. Alliances was the terrible one that looked like a tabard.
Oh wow.
Not judgment, but something like that. But that one encouraged decks that had enemy color pairs in them.
I hear
Do
a
you
bit
see a
patter.
sweetie?
I see a sweetie. A little silhouette of a cutie gay. She's got a shaved side and everything now.
Ooh.
Hot girl.
Hot girl.
I love you.
I love you too.
Have a good record of the Dyson Funk.
I'm very sleepy.
Send my love to the nerds. And she's away. Necrosanctuary, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a green or white...
We already read through it.
this. I've read this. Something else,
Jane,
Necro.
keep it together.
I can't.
Cannot be distracted by pretty lady.
I think I can. Necrologia. Play
That's
Necrologia.
someone's kink.
I mean, I'm not going to kink shame, but... play Necrologia only during your discard phase. Pay X life, draw X cards.
So
Ooh.
you have to get to a point where you have to discard cards from your hand. And only then can you play this card.
It feels like
it's powerful.
very circumstantial card.
It is very circumstantial, but it is one of the best card effects you can have. Paying life for cards is an insanely efficient thing. I realize that I use the word insane and mad and crazy way too much in my vocabulary. And I apologize. Knight of Souls Betrayal.
I mean, they're having a bad time. All creatures get -1/-1. For four. I mean, it is all creatures, but still. Good way of dealing with red 1/1-ness.
Yeah.
Night Snare.
Not to be confused with Nightmare.
No. It's 4 mana. Target opponent reveal their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, that player discards that card. If you don't, that player discards 2 cards.
Weird. It's either an overpriced Thought Erasure or an overpriced Mind Rot. It doesn't seem that good.
It's got some shiny blue bits on it. Nick's Infusion. Hi, Nick. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 as long as it's an enchantment. Otherwise, it's -2/-2. And it goes back
Again.
off.
One of these, either it is a buff or a kill spell, depending on what you need.
What do you need?
Reliable.
What are you buying, stranger?
And this seems to be a much more effective cost of that effect.
Priest of the Blood Rite. When it enters the battlefield, put a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 2 life.
So this is something that is very easy to just cheat into play and then immediately sacrifice for something better. Just like, I'm going to play this demon, and then fuck off.
Bye. Just leave this here. Bye.
But even if you do have to keep it in play, 2 life for 7/7 worth of creature for 5 mana is not bad in the slightest.
Yes. Not too common. Oh, this card is wordy. Pull under. Target creature gets -5/-5 for 6 until end of turn.
Yep. That is quite the image there. Quite the art.
You're so veins.
Ouch.
Mind that.
I just bumped my elbow.
No, that's your elbow. You may play Ragged Veins anytime. You can play an instant.
That's flesh.
Whenever enchanted creature is dealt damage, its controller loses that much life. Double tap.
I mean, it's something, I guess.
How about Raising the Dead?
Nice.
Nice, cheap, efficient.
Very cheap. Surprising coming from Core 8. I'm surprised it didn't cost like 5 mana.
Let's just rag on Core 8 for a while. Reach of Shadows. Destroy target creature. That's one or more colors.
After all of my cards were taken, my only choice to play Magic for years was to play a shitty computer game that was only with some Core 8 cards.
I think I had that.
Yeah.
It's not a good game. Read the bones.
Oh, this is
Scratchy.
a good card.
Then draw 2. Then lose 2 life.
Yeah, this is essentially a better divination at the cost of 2 life. And
Okay.
divination is already a good card.
It seems like a pretty good card.
It's not the
Rend
greatest,
Spirit.
but like it's a... Yeah, divination isn't the greatest, but it's a good benchmark for draw spells.
I'm seeing tentacles. I'm liking the tentacles. I'm seeing starry bits. I'm liking starry bits.
Seeing sparks fly.
Destroy target spirit for 3 mana.
Mhm.
Worth it?
You gotta love how there is essentially an alien from Alien with tentacles coming out of it.
Oh, yeah.
See how it even has like the little xenomorph tongue flap thing? Like the tongue looks very, very xenomorph.
Ritual of the Returned.
Hmm.
Exile target creature card from your graveyard. Put a black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Its power is equal to that card's power, and its toughness is equal to that card's toughness.
As an instant, it's okay, and if you had a creature with a lot of power or toughness that just had negative text, then this is a great way to cheat something in like that. I'm surprised they don't use this in modern or vintage decks that use the 120, the one like 13/13 one drop that gets -X where X is your life total.
Huh. Yes. Yes, I can see that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
What about some severed strands?
Snip, snip, motherfucker.
That should be the flavor text.
Mm-hmm.
As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. You gain life equal to the sacrifice creature's toughness. Destroy target creature an opponent controls.
Mm-hmm.
Plusata.
So it's a slightly more expensive Bone Splinters, but you do get life out of it. Really good, I guess, if you're coming out from behind in a very, like, aggro-y, huge creatures game, but I don't know.
Coming from behind. Sounds sticky. Sigin in blood.
Sign in blood.
Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life.
Mm-hmm. Pretty basic. It's interesting how it's target player.
Mm-hmm.
You could use it for politics in Commander.
I don't know what that is. Saltire Runemark. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for 3. Enchanted creature has Death Touch as long as you control a green or a blue permanent. Oh, she's getting the yawnies. We're so close to the end. Must move swiftly though. Shattered Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not wearing a lot. You've got a big sword. Reveal. Target opponent reveals hand. Opponent choose an artifact card from that. From it. That player discards that card.
Very good in Mirrodin. Not so good outside of Mirrodin.
Shrivel. All creatures get -2, -1/-1 until end of turn. So it's just a shorter version of the thing we saw earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Pink.
Gooey pink.
That is a pretty card. It's in its possession. Enchanted creature. Whenever an enchanted creature attacks or blocks, its controller loses 2 life.
So this is just a slightly pared down version of the card we saw earlier, except it's way cheaper.
Mm-hmm. It's so
pink.
Like, wasn't the last one like 5 mana for something where it lost 3 life for attacker block?
Yeah, I think it was 5 plus black.
Yeah.
Skull tap. As usual, cost to play Skull tap, sacrifice creature, and draw 2 cards for 2.
Very nice. Very, very nice indeed.
It'll
I know
do.
we talked about the same exact ability earlier, except that one was an instant, and this is a sorcery.
Also, it's
Damn
Doc
you,
Ock
power
from,
creep.
Doc Ock from Enter Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Slaughter.
Mm.
Buyback. Pay 4 life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you may pay 4 life in addition to any other costs. When you play the spell, if you do, put it into your hand instead of your graveyard as part of the spell's effect. Destroy target non-black creature. That creature cannot be regenerated this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, howdy.
Yeah.
So if you've got life to spare,
Not the most efficient way of doing things, but repeatable and reliable.
mm-hmm. So yeah, if you find yourself suddenly with like 43 health,
Mm-hmm. Good for extortion.
Saltyrona.
We've already seen this one.
We have. I need to better organise my cards, but not right now. Suppress. That's a cool piece of art. Target player removes all cards in their hand from the game face down at the end of that player's next turn. That player returns those cards to their hand. Put your hand down,
Wow.
pick it back up.
That's actually very nasty.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you don't get to do anything next turn, except activate your abilities and draw a single card. This looks
Yep.
like it could be very, very rude.
So rude. Swallowing Plague, you eh?
Mm.
Swallowing Plague deals X damage to target creature, and you gain X life.
Mm-hmm.
Quick,
I guess.
to the point.
Mm-hmm.
To the point, no faking. Cooking MCs like a pound of bacon. I'm not going to quote Vanilla Ice anymore. Tasiga's Cruelty. Delve. Each opponent discards 2 cards. Good in multiplayer, I guess.
I guess. Also, just not that great in general.
It's cool.
You don't want to be delving away your cards in a graveyard in a delve deck for this sort of ability.
Yeah, I guess. Give me a Commangler instead, please.
Mm-hmm. You'd want to be playing your, like, dig through time.
That's quite some card art. It feels very Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah, it does.
Tendrils of Agony. It costs 4. Target player loses 2 life. You gain 2 life, and it has Storm.
This is actually a combo finisher in a lot of mono black combo decks in Canadian Highlander and other very powerful formats.
I've heard of that.
But yeah, it's a very good card.
Tendrils of Corruptione. Deals X damage to target creature, and you gain X life, where X is the number of swamps you control. I could get expensive late game. Maybe throw that in with my big thing. Touch of the Moon of Moonglove. Target creature gets +1/+2 0 until end, and gains Death Touch until end of turn. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, that creature dies, and this dies this turn. Its controller loses 2 life.
There's a lot of tendrils in this deck. I can totally believe Jane made it, says Crimmy.
I like the tentacles.
Indeed.
Don't tentacle shame me. Oh look, more tentacles. Undercity Embrace. Whenever an
No
opponent...
wonder black's your favorite magic color.
So many tentacles.
You enjoy Farika's spawn in this current set? I mean, I guess with the Nadir Kraken, there's not much comparison.
It is the Cephalopod arms with the good suckies, and I do like the good suckies. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you also gain 4 life.
Yep. Not the worst thing in the world in a pinch.
It's me at all times. Unholy hunger. Destroy target creature. spell mastery. If there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, you gain 2 life.
Extremely overpriced.
So expensive.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be that expensive, had better art. Vile Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
Cost 1. Play the instant speed. Exile target creature card from the graveyard. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield.
Yep. Zombies coming from exiling creature cards in your graveyard were pretty big in Corso 2014, and this is one of the key components in that sort of deck.
Mm-hmm. We're so close. Virulent plug you here. Creature tokens get -2/-2, which would
Surprised.
wipe out most creature tokens, I imagine.
It would. I imagine that this. I don't think this was in standard at the same time as Return to Ravnica block, but if it was, then woe to any Selesnya player, just in general.
Bye-bye. Thanks for coming. Goodbye. Pink! Waking Nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Target player discards 2 cards. It's alright for 3. Take that.
Yeah.
Weight of the worlds.
Weight of the Underworld.
It's a world. Weight of the Underworld. Enchanted creature gets -3/-2. And Atlas gets a job. Or is that Heliod?
Oh,
Who is
that's Atlas. Well, it's Alkmenos.
I was going to say, didn't something happen in the lore?
In the latest set, yes, Heliod is made to hold up the weight of the world. Yeah. Because he's a prick.
Yes.
Ring flesh.
Twisty.
Mm.
Target creature gets -3/-1 until end of turn. Not bad for 1 if you want to deal with a big creature.
Mhm.
And now the final creature. Oh, it's from 8th. Zombify. Return target creature card from your graveyard to play. Wow, what a disappointing ending. Be a better card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we did it.
We did it.
We've gone through.
We've only just fucking done it.
We've done. Yeah, that took considerably longer than I was expecting.
I mean, it was 2 hours and 5 minutes, so yeah.
Okay, it wasn't far off. I thought for some reason I thought I don't know. Maybe I was just fucking about too much earlier. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Not that I can mention until we start streaming on alternative websites. But anyways.
Streaming? You were streaming today.
I was streaming today, and I might do more streams, so you can always go to twitch.tv/KeladryJane, that is KeladryJane, or follow the links that I post frequently in the Stoned Monkey Radio Discord to see it when I go live, which I'm hoping to do on a much more regular basis now, if I can, because I have finally got a new cord for my mic, and therefore will definitely enjoy streaming again. Jane, is there anything you in particular would like to plug?
Again, not something I can really say on Twitter to chair. I'm Janiac on Twitter and YouTube. You can help me out by supporting me for as little as $1 a month on patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio. I super appreciate all the people who already help me out there, including
I
you,
do it,
Kel.
and so can you.
You can too. You can be this cool. Yeah. I mean, probably. I believe in you. I believe in you.
I agree.
Yeah, I do Grim Pleasant Strangers with Laura, which you can find on soundcloud.com/JaneRisMagnet, or you can just look for Stoned Monkey Radio and you can find all my cool shit there. Thank you very much for joining us. See you again sometime. Bye-bye.